to the Above Average Podcast, the only podcast for the slightly above average. I'm your host, Lake, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Tanim. Tanim, how you doing?
Not bad, and you?
Good. I'm very happy right now, and I'll tell you why.
So that's the first.
No. But this is a different kind of happiness. This is like Schadenfreude, joy at other people's suffering happiness. It's not like real happiness, so don't get too worried. Market, this year, 2023, is the day that Silicon Valley died, or the year that Silicon Valley died. It's the year it lost its luster for the general public, for investors. Like, before, we saw them as this invincible money-making machine that was going to save our society with technology and going to dominate our culture, and Silicon Valley tech bros were going to be the richest among us for years to come. But this is the year that it died. Basically, to start off, cryptocurrency died. Like, crypto is dead because of Bankman-Fried and the exposure that cryptocurrency is really just a Ponzi scheme. And you have objections to this?
No, I'm
okay. All right. Just making sure you're not an investor and I'm just like dissing you and calling you a moron.
No.
But like, so like with FTX, like basically what happened is like, you know, people were manipulating cryptocurrency like stocks, but there's no real protection for investors with stock manipulation for cryptocurrency, because there's no underlying asset that you own or have rights to as a person who holds cryptocurrency. It's just, you're just fucked.
Yeah.
So like when the bubble bursts, you're just left holding the bet. But I think more significantly in the news in the last few weeks has been Silicon Valley Bank, which, you know, as someone who works for a bank, it has created a lot more work for me. Regulators are kind of clamping down, trying to figure out what happened.
Cook the books.
Exactly. Cook the book. For those who don't know, Silicon Valley Bank is a bank used by tech giants to hold investment capital, essentially. Like, startups will get money from their investors, hold it in Silicon Valley Bank, and, you know, use it to pay their bills, because no company in Silicon Valley really makes money. They just kind of like grow with investor capital, but they lose money as they're doing it. But they have, because of this unshakable faith in Silicon Valley as like a money printing machine, sovereign wealth funds and Saudi billionaires just pump money into it. So it doesn't matter if they lose money because they have more investment capital, but not anymore. Basically, Silicon Valley Bank had a bank run, which is where everyone withdraws all their money and they don't have enough money to honor that. And so they kind of got screwed.
Yeah.
And it really is a worst case scenario for when your cash flow negative business model just doesn't work anymore. So basically, banks don't have to hold all of your money that you've deposited. It's like 15% of your money that you put in the bank, they have to like hold as liquid cash. And problem wasn't that they were holding less than that, because no bank holds enough money to honor all your cash at any one time. Their issue was that they had invested all of everyone's money into long-term bonds. And long-term bonds means that theoretically, because they're longer term, they have a higher risk, so they pay out a higher interest rate. But the risk is that if interest rates rise in the meantime, which they did because of, you know, the Federal Reserve trying to fight inflation, then you as a holder of a long-term bond are risking not being able to put your money into higher interest bonds, so you'd lose out on it.
Yeah.
And what it means is that in the secondary bond market, like if you want to like resell that bond in order to like get cash to pay the deposit holders, that means you have to sell the bond at a loss, because no one wants like 1% interest bonds now that, you know, interest rates are 4%. So they're like, okay, I'll buy this bond off you, but, you know, I'll buy it at a 50% discount. Now, this wouldn't be a problem if you held the bond until it matured and you got paid out like what you paid into it initially plus the interest. The problem is they sold off all of their long-term bonds at a heavy discount, and lost several $billion in the process, which is really stupid.
Yeah.
They expected, like all Silicon Valley companies, that their deficiency in cash would be filled in by emergency investors.
Bailed out,
And
yeah.
yeah, exactly. Not even a government bailout. They were going to get bailed out by
Investors, yeah.
SoftBank or yeah, exactly. Or Warren Buffett or Elon Musk were going to come to the rescue. But then that didn't happen. And, the US federal government had to take over the bank because they became insolvent. So this is what happens when you rely on investors to, hold all of your cash or to be your source of cash and not make any money. And then, in the end, investors lose faith and you just can't operate like that anymore. So yeah, but as a result, the federal government only insures deposits to a couple $100,000. What that means is all the tech companies who held their money in Silicon Valley Bank are pretty fucked, especially because they don't make any money. So, Vimeo, Vox, Roku, they're Etsy, they're not in good financial shape because of this bank run and losing all of their deposits. So yeah, I feel like this is the beginning of the end for the luster around Silicon Valley. Like, investors have now shown like they're not willing to prop up companies that are not making money. So like the days of easy capital for Silicon Valley bullshit, I feel like is approaching its end. There's going to be no more like inventing the trackless tram or reinventing the bus and calling it the trackless tram. There's going to be no more doing normal stuff but just selling it as a subscription service like the Dollar Shave Club and Harry's because they got sold to Unilever and Playtex. Yeah, like I said, no more Silicon Valley going to come in pretending that normal stuff but made worse is the future and fucking us all. So yeah, no more money from nothing. But also we have in addition to Silicon Valley Bank kind of screwing them from the financial side of things, we also just have like the decline of the tech bro. But yeah, we have the decline of the tech bros. Because, do you have friends who just like moved to San Francisco, got a programming job and made 6 times what you made, and their lives just seemed awesome because their work gave them free Mountain Dew?
Not friend, but I knew someone who got a job at Google and he worked on Stadia, which was a complete fail. But I mean,
so he lost his job, obviously.
I have no idea, but maybe he
Okay.
transferred into another department or place.
Yeah. See, Stadia was Silicon Valley bullshit. Oh, yeah. Video games, but worse because you have to be online all the time and there's like lag and it makes games unpleasant to play. Yeah, no more of that bullshit.
It was a lofty idea.
Yeah, it was a lofty idea, but like I already hate video games that make you play online all the time. Like Red Dead Redemption 2 basically makes you play online constantly because they want to like verify that you own it or some shit. And like, so you're not like just downloading Red Dead on Steam and like playing it on another, and like 2 people are playing it on 2 different computers.
Just playing like campaign.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, it means that, like, it means I essentially have to jailbreak the video game I bought.
Yep.
Remember, Silicon Valley did that to you. They're the reason you can't use stuff that you bought. Like, they invented and they created such unwieldy end user licensing agreements that require like arbitration that you basically don't own any of your products, and as a result they can just like fuck you. But then because of the end user licensing agreement, you've like agreed to arbitration, so like they've created like this parallel legal system where they're not bound by like American and Canadian civil courts. They like incorporate it in the Netherlands or some other friendly jurisdiction and force people to go into arbitration there, which logistically they can't do. But like the problem is that might not be legally enforceable. Like you can't just like say, you can't just in a contract say, oh, you can't take this to court, we have to arbitrate in the Netherlands. Like you can't do that. But I think I've mentioned it before on the show. Just because something is not an enforceable contract, like shit like non-compete clauses in your contract, that's all that's like not enforceable. Like if you went to court, that would get thrown out. The issue is that even if it's not enforceable, companies are still allowed to put unenforceable clauses into contracts to just, intimidate people into doing what they want. That's totally legal for some fucked up reason. So they can be like, oh, if you copy this, you agree to like, get killed by a firing squad in Sudan if you like pirate Red Dead Redemption or something like that. Like they could say that, but they can't enforce that. Like they can't make you get on a plane and go to Sudan to be executed. It's not just because something is in a contract doesn't mean it's enforceable, which is something I've learned. Anyway, sorry, back to tech layoffs. No,
find those loopholes.
Yes, find those loopholes. So we've all been laid off, right? Like bad recession.
Sure.
I actually haven't been laid off, but that's only because I started my career like after the Great Recession and not during or before.
Mine were because the companies went bankrupt.
Oh, nice. Like,
so not really a layoff. It's just like, we have no more money.
Oh, okay. Is that better on your resume than, if you got laid off for financial reasons?
It is, because I guess it's just like you're competent, but like your company wasn't.
But like I guess there's a certain like if you're at a certain level in the company, then that doesn't work anymore, because
right, if you're like a senior level or executive, it's just like
it's like then you fucked
you didn't see the signs, you're an idiot.
Yeah, well, but then again, not really, because like fucking the dude who founded WeWork, which is a total shit show, like still keeps getting investments and still keeps getting work.
He's a good salesman.
Yeah, obviously, but like which brings me back to another point about Silicon Valley losing its luster. LinkedIn is like a super boomery social media platform. And as such, they're susceptible to, and young people are too, don't get me wrong, I won't be ageist about this. Young people are also susceptible to falling for Silicon Valley chicanery because they don't understand tech. NFTs, exactly. I feel like young people were the ones investing in NFTs. Boomers were the ones who were like willing to like tell their accountants to like, yeah, give me some of that tech money, and just like, I don't care what the books look like, just give WeWork some money. It seems to be working out for them. I don't actually know, but like, all right, well, let's just say it's everyone's fault. Like, in fairness, let's just say it's everyone's fault. So on LinkedIn, I saw like a lot of people sharing this image, which was the covers of Forbes magazine across the last few years, and they had like Woman from Theranos, Sam Bankman-Fried, the WeWork guy, Silicon Valley Bank. Like it kind of became a joke that every tech bro thing that appeared on the cover of Forbes magazine turned out to be, a massive fraud or, incompetently run. And so the business world is becoming aware that like a lot of Silicon Valley is run by incompetent shitheads and is not a safe place for your money. Like they don't understand like the really basic things like, diversifying their investments or like maintaining enough liquidity. So I think it should be a huge blow to investor confidence who are kind of like seduced by the fact that the world's richest men are all like tech company founders. And, everyone thought, no, I want some of that, but weren't willing to, dig deeper, look at the books, check these companies' cash flow, check like that they're actually making a profit and that they have a viable way of making a profit. Like, what was that fucking exercise bike?
Peloton?
Yeah, Peloton. Like Peloton's whole shtick was that, how much did they cost?
I don't know, maybe 1,000?
Like a couple $1,000, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, their whole shtick was that it was like, you're going to pay $2,000 for an exercise bike that normally costs like $500, and you're going to pay a monthly subscription service, or we're going to brick it. And our company's only going to be profitable if like 5% of American households buy a Peloton or something ridiculous like that. Like something that isn't going to happen. And they had no real way forward. Or like their model is based on like we have like a subscription service And the idea is we sell these things really cheaply, but people forget that they have this subscription service, so they buy way more than they need. And that's how we make money. But so like back to the layoffs. I want everyone to know that if you have been laid off, don't take it personally, in the sense that don't think it's your fault, because as economists have said, layoffs are not actually a smart decision. But I went to a lecture by the former president and CEO of TELUS, and he said there's no creativity in the business. Like, everyone always has the same idea. And Tanim, you probably know this from working in marketing. Business folk, can you confirm that like C-suite business folk are not the most creative thinkers?
100%. That's why they hire us.
All right. Well, and you guys unfortunately don't run the company.
Right.
But so basically, anytime economic hard times hit, or for a company, like whether it's economy wide or for the economy generally, the first and only solution is layoffs. Like, the only one. And it's not even that necessarily salaries are the biggest expense. It's just that investors are sort of hive-minded, and they see, oh, Facebook is doing layoffs. That means other tech companies should be doing layoffs, right? That means the economy is bad and we should be doing layoffs. Like, and if you're not doing layoffs, that means like the CEO isn't being fiscally responsible. So we need to punish them if they don't
Fire people?
If they don't do layoffs. Yeah, exactly. So it's not done because it's the wise thing to do, because it's a really stupid thing to do layoffs. Like, unless you're like, you should never really do layoffs unless you've actually overhired people, or your company is really like going down, like your Blockbuster or some shit like that. Because what you're doing is like, and this is why layoffs don't have any impact on long-term growth or any positive impact, because you're firing people when the labor market is bad, like when labor is cheap. And you're basically either saying like, okay, we're never going to grow again and we're never going to rehire people, or you're saying, okay, we're going to rehire people when the economy is better. But what that means is you're firing people when wage pressures are low and rehiring them when they're high. So you're selling low, buying high in terms of the labor market. But it's worse than that, because how long does it take you to adjust to a new role? Like, to get up to speed like 100%?
I don't know, depends on the job, but maybe a month.
Yeah, so like a month, maybe if it's like a harder job, to like if you're learning a new software, like, you know, a couple months. I know for accounting it's a little longer, because you know, accounting runs on like an annual cycle. So, you know, unless you've been there a full year, you don't really know everything there is to know about the job.
Yep.
I would argue. But so, yeah, you have this huge retraining cost when you rehire all these people. So it's much worse than like firing people when wages are low and hiring them when wages are high. You're also incurring the cost and, you know, resources of retraining everyone. So layoffs are a really bad decision for long-term growth. And it's very rare that companies did not have enough cash to like ride it out. And what the CEO of TELUS was saying is that his idea was like, okay, let's take it to the employees and we'll ask them if they want to do an arrangement where like we cut down working hours to like 4 days a week and cut everyone's salaries accordingly, but, you know, keep everyone on, don't do any layoffs. And then when the economy gets better, we'll boost it back up to a 5-day week. And, you know, everyone who retires, will give them a settlement pack. You know, he went to the board with that and they were like, no, we're not doing that. We're gonna do layoffs instead. So even if you come up with like what I would argue is a good idea like that, where you keep these people within the company and you still save money, they don't like creativity. So yeah, you know, you're gonna end up doing layoffs. And that's kind of what is happening with Silicon Valley right now, is that everyone's kind of hive-minding, thinking they need to lay people off, and, you know, are laying people off in large droves. And the bad economic times for Silicon Silicon Valley were kind of what was contributing to the bank run to begin with, because, companies were making less money and forced to draw from their capital in Silicon Valley Bank more to, pay their staff, pay their severances. And so that's part of what contributed to the bank run. But yeah, so this is kind of like, with everyone being, it all kind of started with Elon Musk, like thinking he could like strip Twitter of all of its employees and still offer the same level of service, which you can't. My Twitter has been hacked like every week since fucking Elon Musk has taken over. Like every single week. And I change the password. I change it to like really long and complicated shit, and I still get hacked like every week.
'Cause you're on Team Russia.
Yeah, I guess so, but like, ugh. And he thinks he's right because like Twitter hasn't collapsed fully. So his argument is, oh, those people were never needed in the first place. But now you have issues where, Twitter is very unstable and there's huge security issues, which is going to lead to huge legal liabilities in the future. And just if someone comes up with something better and is safer for your information, people will leave. Like, social media is a very fleeting thing. Like, look what happened to MySpace. But yeah, this is definitely Elon Musk's fault for thinking he's cleverer than he actually is. Like, it's not his solution to Twitter was not very creative. It was, like I said, slashing, like cutting staff and like making the remaining staff do all the work, because he thinks they can do that.
Yeah.
But it's not really feasible. Like you can keep things going. Like, it's like you can keep things operating, but it won't work well. And that's kind of the problem. Like, as long as he sees that it's working, he thinks that he's done the right thing. Like, all he sees is he's cut all of this he's cut all of this fat from the company that wasn't doing anything, but it was like, you need cybersecurity people on your team, or else you're not gonna have you'll have a functioning website for a little bit, but not forever. And, he started this trend of layoffs. There was also this phenomenon of talent hoarding. Like, companies would hire people, hire programmers just so that their competitors wouldn't have them. And it would like drive up their cost to hire new people. So it was basically this like weird mass labor market sabotage by like hiring people to do nothing jobs, just so like, we Microsoft are going to hire all these people just so that
you can't have them.
Yeah. Google can't have them. Yeah. So now, because of the layoffs, it really shows like tech workers are not immune to this by any means. Like, not immune to layoffs, not immune to economic bad time. It's kind of the dot-com bubble all over again. And I think, at least for me, it takes away a lot of the mystique around the tech job. Like this overly idealized new workplace, which I always kind of hated it, because like, did you ever have an office where they had like a ping pong table and like you used it?
I never used it, but all the time.
Yeah, see, no, but that's my point. Like, you have it, but you don't use it. Or like, if you do use it, it's because you're working super late, or like, and it's trying to like cultivate this culture where like live in and are dependent on the company. Like, it's kind of Japanese, kind of feudal in its style. It either way, very cyberpunk dystopian. When you wander around San Francisco, you just see all the tech bros who worship their companies, like in their Patagonia gear branded with Facebook. It's just like, it was very much representative of a future that like I did not want to happen. I am glad Silicon Valley has like not died, but has been very humbled by the occurrences of this last year. So I'm pretty pleased with this whole thing. But to kind of circle back, Silicon Valley is going to take all of our jobs because the Singularity is here. ChatGPT 4 has arrived.
Yeah.
So ChatGPT 4 is I'll get into that later, but first I want you to talk about like how like what's its fuck is gonna impact the design world. Sorry, I'm so not an expert on these design programs. Like I need you to explain how AI is going to screw you out of a job because I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, there's a lot of programs like MidJourney and I forget the other big one where it's only like invite only, but they've done a good job of doing a visual version of ChatGPT where it's just all prompts and you can create really high res images for whatever product you want, and it creates various versions and then lets you upscale them. And then I think now there's like a paid version where you can get even larger images, and yeah, that's what they have now. So
wait, so is this the program that made that fucking image of Muhammad Ali fighting Mike Tyson?
yeah, that I sent you.
Oh, okay. So when you say it creates different versions, like that's pretty cool. So that means like the same prompt won't result in like the same outputs for everyone, and it won't just be one thing. But are they like super janky, most of them? Like, because I know when I tried AI image creators, they look approximately like what you type in, but like in terms of like that's the right color and the right shape, but like, you know, that person's mouth is merging with their nose, they have like too many eyes.
Right. I mean,
Like,
some can be janky because obviously it's like regenerating based on prompts, but then it's all about using the right prompts to fix it.
oh, okay. Wait, so like if it has too many eyes, do you just say like have 50% less eyes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's that's a little ridiculous, but I like
Or
it.
just be more specific, like 2 eyes, and then it just.
Computers are kind of stupid, aren't they? But
So are people, because then this relates back to OnlyFans, where a lot of individuals created AI generated images of girls in bikinis and people were buying those photos, and regular human beings women were kind of pissed because they were kind of taking their business.
yeah, which and that I guess that's kind of fair, just in the sense that like who owns that image, in the sense that like, you know, if you're creating AI generated pornography, the AI is taking all the pornography it can find on the internet and creating like a composite. So if it's like if this composite is like if you're a porn star and this composite image is like whatever, I don't even know how to break it down, but like is like 4% you, then
Yep.
you know your work is making this image happen, and it's just like regurgitating it. Like it basically, it's doing what Hollywood remakes did to fucking movies.
Yeah.
But, so wait, so how did they, because the AI image generators, like I said, like how did they not create images of women that had like too many nipples, or like, you know, their belly buttons were a mouth, or their eyes were boobs, or like their face was merged with another face? Like have they fixed that now?
Yeah, I mean, all that is fixed. It's really hard to, unless you're looking for it. Like I sent it to a friend and he was like, all those girls are hot. And I'm like, well, they don't exist. Because he's like, what do you mean they don't exist? I'm like, they're AI generated. So
I mean, but
it
they
kind of
do exist though, because it's just like,
right. I mean, as in
if
they're
you're
not
taking
human.
if you're like creating like an amalgamation of features, then it's like, okay, it's not like one specific person, but it's a composite of several specific people.
Yeah.
Like, as far as I know, like, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but like the AI can't invent a wholly original person.
I mean, it does, but based off of all the information it already has on like pictures.
Right, like it needs like the actual inputs.
Right, it's got a reference.
Okay. So, and how does Adobe's new program figure into this?
Yeah, so then when I was using the MidJourney or DALL-E or all the different types of programs generate images, I was like, lacks the ability to edit things like you can do in Photoshop or Illustrator. So it works, but it also just gives you like poster-like images that are just final.
So it's like it can give you like that image of Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson fighting, but you can't like colorize it or make Muhammad Ali wearing like a branded McDonald's hat or something.
I mean, you can, well, I can since I know Photoshop, but like the regular person can't. And like,
okay.
Usually, let's say if I did create that image, I would make Muhammad Ali and Tyson separate so I can like move them around within that poster or whatever. But you can't really do that when there's just all one image and static.
Okay, like you can't change it within the program. Like you can change it because you can take it to Photoshop and then fuck with it there.
Right. So, but if you don't know Photoshop, you can't do shit.
Yeah. Okay. So you still have a job.
Right. But then Adobe, which is like the Disney of like the creative industry, has this robust kind of history of just like buying other companies that compete against them. So they bought this other company called Figma, which was one of their competitions. So now they just own there is no competition really. So
wait, so Adobe is not doomed.
no, it's actually like forward thinking and seeing what else is out there.
Okay, because I was under the impression Adobe was just fucked because, Flash was gone. Microsoft Edge was like muscling them out in terms of, I guess, like PDF reading and editing. But so I really thought like Adobe was just going to kind of slowly die and then
all these other programs would take over. Yeah.
Yeah. Like okay, so Adobe's going to survive just like purely based on like
adapting,
taking your job as a designer. So like, do you think it's actually going to like replace like copywriters and shit?
Some have already done that. So like, so it's here. ChatGPT, a lot of individuals will use that to like come up with headlines and stuff, and they won't need, you can just have like an assistant put those prompts in. You don't need an actual copywriter to do that. But with Adobe, when they created that program Firefly, which is still beta, but
on the other hand, like a lot of like social media posts and article headlines are like stupid NPC bullshit. Like, I got ChatGPT to write like a blog TO article about like the experience of going to Canadian Tire, and it worked really well because blog TO articles are not like the height of journalism. So like you really approximate the feeling of that. So I want to talk about ChatGPT 4. And kind of it's basically the text version of this all. So the kind of metric that so I have friends who work in tech, and I have one friend who believes that ChatGPT 4 is like the singularity. It's like AI is going to take over. This is going to replace us completely, and like we're staring down the barrel of it. And whereas like I have another friend who actually works for Microsoft and like knows a lot about the chatbot. And he's more skeptical. So first of all, I want to talk about the difference between ChatGPT 3 and ChatGPT 4. So ChatGPT 3 wrote the bar exam, like the American exam to like become a lawyer. And so first of all, and it got in the bottom 10%. So it couldn't really write the bar exam. Whereas like ChatGPT 4 wrote the bar exam and it was in like the top 10%. Now I think that's weird because I think they should be like, I think a chat bot with access to legal books should be able to write the bar exam like pretty easily. And I'll explain why. Because like, first of all, so like not to diminish it, like that's a huge difference. So like on the surface of it, it looks like, okay, now the chatbot can be a lawyer. Like it can pass the bar exam and not just be a lawyer, but be a good lawyer. But the flip side of that is like the American bar exam, there's like a standard bar exam that 40 states use. A couple states don't use it. Like Wisconsin, you don't need the bar exam, and California has their own version that's a lot harder, and Louisiana has their own version because they have like a civil law code. But from what I understand, the bar exam in the United States is 3 parts. Firstly, it's like 200 multiple choice questions, and that should be really fucking easy for a chat bot. It'll be like, what's law code and it should just be able to like look up the text, find it, answer it correct. Like it should just get 100% on that. The third part is you have like a case file, and you have to write a legal memo or case summary, something like that. Sorry, lawyers, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what's on the bar exam. I had to, look this up. So just to give me enough understanding of the bot's capabilities. But so essentially you just have to like have a case file, have the relevant legal text, based on like precedent and all that. And like, what other cases are relevant to this situation, and write like kind of a memo or a summary of like, what's the situation and like what the relevant documentation is. So this is a lot more subjective. But I think the chatbot should be able to do that, because all it has to do is like do like word association and just like summarize the case file, and like use word association to find like the relevant precedent. The middle section, the second section, which is like, it's like, I don't know how many, I think it's like 6 short form essay questions. That is a little more impressive because like, the chatbot can't be janky. And I think it would have issues with that because the chatbot cannot think. Like, it is not capable of thinking. And the best example, so first of all, the luster of ChatGPT was kind of destroyed for me. Like, I went to my buddy and I said, like, oh, is it true? Is this like the Singularity? Is this going to take all of our jobs? And he sent me a screenshot and it said, like, how many words are in this sentence? And ChatGPT was like, 9. That's wrong. It's like, it doesn't know that, like it doesn't know how to count the words in the sentence. And so basically how it works is it has like this probability model. Like, it knows that, like, based on all the text available on the internet, that when you say the word Barack, the next word is going to be Obama 95% of the time, or it's going to be Hussein like 3% of the time. So like, it knows how to like create a sentence based on like what should be there. So like, you know, I got it to write a Denis Villeneuve movie about minor league hockey, and you know, it's able to like, basically it's just doing Mad Libs. Like, it gets it gets reviews for Denis Villeneuve movies and
fills in the blanks.
Yeah, fills in the blanks with minor league hockey related bullshit. I think the best example of how ChatGPT can't think is I have a buddy who uses it to help write research papers, and you can't give it a free hand because ChatGPT knows what a research paper looks like, but it doesn't know that the research paper has to be right. So it knows like the word structure of the research paper. So the best example is that there's like references in research papers. Yep. It made up a reference to a totally fictional journal with totally fictional scientists, because it knows what a reference should look like and can create a fictional reference. Like, it can create like, oh, this is a research paper by like Lee, Gerstein, and Smith from Columbia University 2007. And it can write that. But it can't it can't know that it needs to refer to like an actual real reference, because it doesn't think. So while the tool is useful, it's not doing what you think it is. Like, it's not actually thinking. It's just like it's just running a probability model. As a result, it can create, like, in generating a narrative, it can create huge continuity errors. Because, for example, I tried to get it to rewrite the last season of Game of Thrones, but better. Which, I don't know, that shouldn't be that hard. Like, you could do that. Like, or actually, no, you're a writer. You could do that. I could do that. I could write a better last season of Game of Thrones, and it did write approximately like a new Game of Thrones. For example, it was like, Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen team up at the Battle of Winterfell to kill the Night King. But then it's like Jon Snow then had to kill Daenerys Targaryen, and then they had to go back to Winterfell to defeat the Night King. Like, it doesn't understand that, like, because it doesn't think, it doesn't understand that like these things have to happen like sequentially and with continuity. Like, it doesn't understand that like once Winterfell happens, that's over, and like the shit that happened at Winterfell impacts what happens later. So like, it can write a story where like, you know, the Night King is killed off and then the Night King just comes back casually. Not like, it's not writing it resurrected. It just doesn't know that the Night King is dead. Like, the best way to describe it is like, ChatGPT does not have object permanence. Yep. Like, you know, in the sense that like, if you like close your eyes and you're looking at a cup of water in front of you, you know that the cup of water is still there, but ChatGPT doesn't know that. It doesn't know how to create continuity with that. Like, I'm not worried about it being able to write entertainment continuously, because like, it will be very janky for a long time, like at least as it currently exists. Did you watch like Infinite Seinfeld?
No, what's that?
Oh, so like an AI just decided to or a guy decided to create an AI that wrote and animated.
Oh yeah, it's like cartoony. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, like an infinite version of Seinfeld, and it's like approximately Seinfeld in the sense that like, you know, there's Jerry and there's the apartment and they do stupid bullshit, but like, you know, there's no like continuity. Like, it's not an authentic Seinfeld story. story. It's just like, ha ha ha, isn't this funny? This is like approximately Seinfeld. But it can't, like, it doesn't know anything, so it can't actually write a story, which is why I'm not worried that it's the Singularity.
Right.
However, I am going to use it to write emails for me. And cover letters and
everything else that needs to be edited.
Pretty much. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna get it to like write cards for people. I don't know how to write cards.
Like greeting cards or like birthday cards?
Yeah, greeting cards, birthday cards, anniversary cards. Like, just get it to write poetry for my wife.
That feels like a problem.
No, it's fine. Actually, no, never mind. I'm not gonna let. Never mind. I will not let the AI fuck my wife. It's not gonna happen. Okay, so scratch that. I will let it assume my duties as like a family member in like writing people birthday cards. I can't write cards, man. It's like, it's too.
So just buy them.
I mean, yeah, that is what I do. But like, I wish I could get the AI to buy it for me.
That's just lazy.
I am lazy. See, but that's the point. Like, I need the AI to like do all the busy work of living for me. So I could focus on important things like finally beating Sekiro. That game is fucking hard, man. Like, it was rough. But yeah, like I need some time to work on that. Yeah, no, there's just I also see part of the problem is like too many of my family members have birthdays around the same time. So like I need someone to take the load off.
You need an assistant.
Yes, I need an AI assistant.
Or a human one.
Yeah, but that human ones cost too much money and I have to feed them. So
they can work for free.
Yeah, but I mean, I think I'm already pushing my luck in the sense that my wife is a much better organizer than me. So so she like book hotels and stuff. Like, and I don't want to be one of those like useless husbands who like doesn't know how to do shit. It's just, she's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do all this shit. It's all done and it's done better than you could have done. You know, I'm obviously like better at like doing our taxes and managing our household finances, but like in terms of like making arrangements for like a party or something, I can't be bothered to like coordinate with people. Like I hate like
people.
Well, I hate like trying to like manage everyone's schedules to like
align,
make it all work together. Yep. and creating a date that works for everyone. It's just like, it is not my strength at all. So like, you know, if I ever get, I could never be an executive assistant. Like that would never, that could never work for me. So I actually do have like a huge amount of respect for EAs, because even though it doesn't necessarily like, it doesn't require like a lot of like formal education to be an EA. Like some of the best EAs I've known haven't even graduated high school, but like it requires an incredible amount of skill that I do not have, and I don't think I could learn. So weirdly, it's a profession I have like a huge amount of respect for. I definitely respect it more than stockbrokers, because stockbrokers are fucking dumb. They just make money on commission, and like, sorry, I had a bad experience with stockbrokers once, and I'm just, I still can't get over how much more money they make than me, even though they know so much less. It's like, it's continuously irritating. But anyway, so like maybe ChatGPT can give me a personal secretary.
Or a good stockbroker.
Or a good stockbroker. But again, they don't know what... My complaint was like my stockbroker didn't know what a basis point was. And technically speaking, the AI also doesn't know what a basis point is. So it's not really an improvement. But anyway, just don't worry about the AI overlords.
Just not yet.
Not yet. But like, actually, but like, if you're a social media content generator and you make like content for NPCs, like, okay, be worried, because like if you write for Blog.to, or like you create fucking, you know, like dumbass social media content where it's like, you won't believe what happens next, watch till the end, DM this to your friend, like, you know, stupid bullshit on Instagram that's just like, well, probably already is bots trying to like create a social media account with lots of followers. Like, but if you do approximately that, your job is fucked. Like, it can write Blog.to so much better than you. It can write like Tumblr posts and like generic Instagram and TikTok bullshit so much better. So that's who's going. That's who's going. The rest of us are fine. Maybe I'm too optimistic, but at some point there could be like a CEO decides like, all right, let's roll out real AI before Google does, and actually just like does it, and that would be bad. Yeah, because the problem is like if you did have a true AI, you could not control it, because like if you say like if you made an AI to like put stickers on fruit and you want it to want to put stickers on fruit, then it can like deceive you and, you know, continue to want to put stickers on fruit because that would what it was originally programmed to do, and you won't be able to like reprogram it, like, and it can trick you into thinking it's been reprogrammed, but no, it's not something you actually want to do. I, for one, welcome our new AI overlords if it means I never have to write a cover letter again.
Or greeting card.
Or greeting card. It's mostly cover letters because, like, holy shit, man. Like, I'm not making a custom cover letter for every job. So, like, on the off chance this isn't a ghost job that just exists to make it look like the company is doing well, like, fuck that. I'm not writing you a custom cover letter every time, unless like I really want this job. No custom cover letters for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Find us everywhere on all your podcast platforms and social media. We're everywhere ChatGPT is. So check us out. And yeah, YouTube. That's where we're at.
Yes. Think for yourselves, people. That's how you keep the AI away.